Hello everyone. Today I will teach you how to play the Agricola expansion, The Farmer of the Moor. So because of pandemic, I wasn't able to meet up with my friends to play a physical board game. So what I did was I create this game on Googlesheet. So now I'm at a point where we're thinking about playing the expansion. So we couldn't meet up, so I decided to make a video. So let's hop in how to play this game. So this game, if you were to play in physical, you would pick a set of cards. So these are all random, and I'm gonna explain what these are um, shortly. So in the base game, we normally don't have these forest and moor tiles. So these are all farmyard tiles that they're all considered as unused space. But now in this expansion, now the ones that are showing the forest and the moor, they are actually used space until if you decided to turn them into a farmyard space. So um, so what's changed in this game from a setup standpoint is everyone there's different randoms of setup of force and more. So you can see here player one, player two, player three, player four. They all look random. And then from a major improvement standpoint, we have added a lot of different cards. So here um, you have a top and a bottom card. So what top and bottom card means that you cannot build the house slaughterhouse until fireplace is being bought. So because you have to take the top card out before you can get the bottom. So similarly, like clay oven and furnace, I cannot build the furnace until someone builds the clay oven first. So the explanation of each card is written on my cheat sheet. Um, the house slaughterhouse basically it's like and the cookhouse they're basically like the cooking hearth, and the fireplace is the cheaper version and the more expensive version. So the difference is you can cook horses. And then there's other improvements where allowed you to do different things. The village church gives you more points. It's like it's the bottom well. I'm not gonna go through every single card, but there's a lot of description that allows you to like, heating cost is cheaper. Yes, there is heating in this game, um, and then there's other discount. And then there's also these extra special action cards. So I will explain what they are shortly. From a game flow standpoint, the flow is still the same. You go in a circle, you go in clockwise, and then you place a worker. But the difference is you get to decide if you want to place a worker or you want to use a special action. So special action doesn't require you to use a worker. So you can take the special action when you still have a worker. So for example, um, let's say if so let's say I was the starting player, and then I can either decide to take 3 wood, or I can play a special action card and then keep my worker till the next round. But then let's say in the future I place all my workers, so I only have 2, and then when it comes back to me again, I don't get that privilege to play the special action. So the special actions, you can only play it when you still have workers in the in your house. And then from a setup standpoint, round one is always a major improvement, major and minor improvement. So this card will always be there, and then all the rest is like the same as before. So now let me explain what the special actions are. So depending on number of players. So if you have 2 players, you have these two. You have 3 players, you also have these two. If you have 5 players, you have these. So this game is a 4-player setup, and so there's 3 different special actions. So let me explain what each one does. So in my cheat sheet, I actually have it explained here and zoom in. So now there's 7 different types. So let me explain. The first one that calls cut peak. So the cut peak is basically you turn your Moor tile into a farmyard and you get 3 fuel. So in the 3 fuel, so basically, let's say I want to turn this one. So I change it into a farmyard, and then I get 3 fuel. Okay, so the fuel is important for heating the house. That's when you need to do during the harvest. So I'll explain that later. The next one is slash and burn. So the slash and burn is basically turn your forest tile into a plow field. So just keep in mind that when you do a slash and burn, the rules of having the field adjacent still applies. So for example, now if I decided to turn this into a field, and then so that becomes my first field. And then when I plow a field, it has to be beside it. So or if let's say if I plow my field first and then I take a slash and burn, I couldn't take it because it has to be adjacent, and my forest is right here or my forest right here, so you can't take that action. So it has to be adjacent. That rule is still the same. Then sorry, I skipped this one. Fell trees. So fell trees, it's like cut peak. So you basically what you do is you take out the forest and it turns into a farmyard, and then you get 2 wood. That's as simple as it is. The next one is a horse. So you can take a horse. Basically, you just take an animal. So if you're playing a 2-player game or a 5-player game, you have to pay to get the horse. But here you just grab the horse, and the horse is like the other 3. It's like any kind of animals. So the same rules applies. You need to either you can put one as a pet or you can put it in a pasture. So the 5th one is hiring fair. So you just get the food. If you're just playing a 3-player game, you get 2 food, and then the rest you get 1 food. The next one is black market. So the black market, basically you pay 1 fuel, and then you can play a minor improvement. And then the last one, the clandestine work, that's where you pay 1 fuel and 1 food to actually build a major improvement. So these actions are actually quite strong because it doesn't count as your worker action. It's a special action. So the next thing I want to talk about is these special actions can actually be played more than once. Max is choice. So if I decided to play this special action, so let's say okay, I play fell tree. So I'm gonna turn this into a farmyard, and then I get 2 wood. And then later on, let's say the blue player decided, hey, I actually want to play this card. So he could actually take my card, and then but then the action is he has to pay 2 food to take the card. So if someone has played the special action, you can pay 2 food and you take the card, and then you flip the card upside down. So because it's on a Google Sheet, I couldn't flip this card upside down. So this shows that it's flipping upside down. So when the card is being flipped upside down, it means that the card cannot be taken again until next round. So you cannot play the same card more than once by yourself. So you cannot say, if I play this card and then I want to play again. No, we cannot. You can take someone's special action, but you cannot play the same card twice. So if the blue player takes it, it becomes flipped upside down. That's it. So now, so you just go with the game flow. Once you get to the point where you get to harvest, so let's say it's round four. It's round four, and then everyone has gone to placing their action. Now we're at harvest. So the harvest, besides paying food for your worker, you also have to heat the rooms. So the rules of heating the rooms is you count the number of rooms. So if I have 2 rooms, I have to pay 2 fuel. So there is a natural trade. So if you have wood, you can turn it into a fuel, but then you cannot do it the reverse way. So if I have 2 wood, I can turn into a 2 fuel, but then I cannot turn it back. Once you've decided to switch it, you cannot go back. So you have to pay 2. So if one day upgrade your wooden house to a clay house, it becomes -1. So in this particular case, you only pay 1. So and then for this particular case, you will pay 2. So 3 minus 1 is 2. And then similarly, if you were able to upgrade again, turn into a stone house, it's -2. So if you have 3 rooms, it's 3 minus 2, so you only need to pay 1. So there are cards like the major improvement. So the furnace, the ones that are under the oven, they are the ones that give you discount on paying on heating. The furnace one, I believe it only -1. The heating stove, this one is pretty good, but of course it costs a little bit more. This one, no matter how big your house is, you only pay 1. So there are cards that helps you to pay cheaper. So what happens if you can't pay? So if you cannot pay, if you have one worker that you cannot pay, then that person gets a bad marker. Basically what that means is that person is sick. In the next round, he cannot go anywhere but the infirmary. So you get 1 food and that's it. There's nothing else you can do. If this happens on the final round, any people that are in this room in your final round, like who are sick at the harvest, after the harvest around 14, then that person doesn't get 3 points. You get 1 instead. So from a scoring standpoint, each horse, so now you have the extra categories. There's the horse. So the horse, there's no limit. So unlike the sheep and the pigs and the cattle, there is a cap of 4 points, but for horses, there's no cap. So if you have 5 horses, it's 5 points. If you have 8 horses, it's 8 points. I believe that's pretty much it. That's how you play Farmer of the Moor. So I hope this video helps you how to play this game and enjoy.